What's up everyone? The nominations have been made and it seems like the celebrities are starting to butt heads and things are starting to blow up. It's exactly what we want to see and we've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your live feed update. Alright folks, now right before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you haven't already to hit the subscribe button, and also while you're at it, click the like button and click the bell icon. It literally takes 2 seconds to do so and I would appreciate it so much. Alright folks, we'll waste no time in jumping into who got nominated for eviction. Now of course Misha, as the head of household, she is the one deciding this round, so let's find out who Misha decided to nominate for eviction. Cue the music. This is the nomination ceremony. It is my responsibility as head of household to nominate 2 house guests for eviction. In my nomination box are the keys of the house guests I am nominating for eviction. I will turn the 2 keys on the box and the house guest faces will appear on the memory wall. The first house guest I am nominating is Carson. The second house guest I am nominating is Cynthia. Carson and Cynthia, I have nominated you 2 for eviction because I am simply obsessed with getting you out and have no other motive than that. That being said, I'm going to let everybody duke it out in the veto competition and we'll see who wins. Now, I hope you all enjoyed that little nomination ceremony I did there. Again, that wasn't the reasoning that Misha gave. That's just as a viewer what it seems to be. But of course, we're going to dive into all the nooks and crannies and all the different sides of things. I saw somebody saying yesterday in the comments, they could have phrased it a bit differently. They said to me, "Oh, Tom, just because you didn't get the thing that you wanted doesn't mean that it wasn't the right gameplay in regards to Todrick going." And there was somebody who said that in a very polite manner to me, and I levelled with them and I said, "Absolutely, I totally agree. That there's a point of view where it's where it's a good gameplay point." And somebody else came at me and was basically saying, "It's just your opinion. It's not a fact." And I'm like, "Yes, I know. That's literally what we do on this channel. It's an opinion." So just to clear that up, it's not me stating the facts yesterday. It's me saying this is what I think, and I still stand by it. I do think it would have been a great move to get Todrick out. Because I do think Todrick could make it to the end. I could be totally wrong, but again, that's what an opinion is. That's my opinion, and that's the one I'm voicing. That's it. And I'm not going to change my opinion to suit different people. That's what I think. But I can appreciate other people's opinions, which is why the first guy said that. Thank you for saying that, because I like to see the different sides of things. But yeah, so Misha has nominated Carson and Cynthia for eviction, and it seems on this side of things that Carson and Cynthia aren't necessarily going to be huge threats in my opinion. Carson has shown he's capable in comp, so I can see that side of things. Cynthia, I'm guessing it's because she is close to Carson. They've both expressed that they would put Misha up if they won head of household. Misha doesn't know that, of course, so that can't be a reason for why, unless she gets some kind of a vibe. Put it this way, I think there's bigger threats in there. However, it's not the worst move you can make. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this one turns out. I do think Carson could pull out a veto win. I've got a feeling he's going to be the veto guy this season. It's sad really, because I really do like Carson and I really do like Cynthia. And the sucky part is of this, in modern day Big Brother, it doesn't tend to be the person who goes up after the veto that goes home. It's always the person who is initially the target or the person who is on the block with the new person, which is... It's a bit disappointing, but hey ho, listen, this is Big Brother, we expect the unexpected always, and that's the beauty of it. Even though we may be disappointed at certain points in the season or whatever, and we get our hopes up and then they come crashing down, we always go into the next nomination ceremony or head of household competition or veto ceremony or eviction with a little bit of hope in our hearts, and that's what I'm going to be doing this week. Now, a very interesting moment in the day and an incredibly passive-aggressive moment was between Todd and Chris in Sync. Chris in Sync came into the kitchen. Todd was sat at the dining table by himself. And Chris says to him, between me and you, I've never seen a group of messier people, sloppier people who just leave stuff around. And basically, Chris went on this rant about how the kitchen's really mucky and it's all dirty and, people need to clean up after themselves. And Todd was saying, Chris was saying, who do you think cleans up? And then Todd was saying, all of us do little bits and stuff like that. And Chris was saying, I disagree with that. And it was weird because I feel like this situation, before I tell the rest of the story, I feel like Todd was poking Chris a little bit, like he was egging him on, like, annoying him, like stirring the pot. And I think Chris was being very passive aggressive. So I think there's a bit of blame on both parts here. But anyway, they start arguing about light arguments about people need to clean up for themselves and stuff like that. And who do you think this water is left out here? Who do you think this needs to go in the bathroom? And Chris was basically just being a clean freak. I'm getting the impression that Chris has gone from having power one week to being at the bottom the next week, potentially at the mercy of Todrick and Misha if they find out what Chris has been plotting. And I think he's panicking, so maybe he's focusing his efforts on other things. Rather than shouting and kicking off and arguing. I don't know, but this was close to it anyway. And then Todd was saying, just it's fine where it is, let's leave the stuff. And then Chris was saying, where can we put this kettle? Nobody uses the kettle and stuff like that. He's like, just leave the kettle on the stove, Chris. People use it and stuff like that. It was very roundabout. He was trying to move things like the kettle around. The kettle was on the stove. I mean, it's not taking up a lot of space. And anyway, Chris was saying, even my kids, they clean up after themselves and stuff like that. And then Todd did stir the pot at this point, and I don't think it was intentional, but it was very kind of two alphas going at it. And Todd said, I can't wait till your kids grow up, and then Chris was saying, no, I disagree with that. My son, he cleans up after himself, and then Todd was saying, yeah, so did mine when he was younger, and then they hit a certain age, and then they're taller than you, and what are you going to do when they're up in your face? And he gets up out the chair and stands up as if he's squaring off with him. And he's going, what are you going to do? You can't bully him. And then Chris is saying, yes, you can. And I'm like, what? And then Todd's saying, no, you can't. They'll intimidate you and get up there and stuff like that. And, all you can ask them is kindly ask them to do it, but you can't bully them into doing it, And it was just a weird interaction. It was really strange. And then Chris said to Todd, do you know what, Todd, why are you so angry at me? You have an inner angry child in you. And I'm like, what? It was so weird and random, this interaction. They were both getting up in each other's faces, and it was like a fully blown argument without the shouting. That's what it was. That's the best way I could describe it. It was like a deep, fully blown argument, but they weren't shouting. It was just extremely passive-aggressive and confrontational. That's what it was. I don't know. I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts. If you all caught this on the live feed, let me know your opinion. If you didn't, let me know of what I've just said right now. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on this situation. Now, Cynthia and Carson were discussing veto at one point, saying they were both being incredibly supportive of each other, saying, save yourself if you win the veto, yada, 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 as you should, and then hopefully we can get Catan to go up and backdoor. I don't think it's ideal, but it's like Catan's the only option at this point. And for me, I don't want Catan to go. I love the guy. He's incredible. Really stand-up guy. Just got so much respect for him. I hope he's not a backdoor option, and I don't think he is. Misha was actually discussing, saying, Catan, you're safe this week. Boom. I hope that is the case. It's sad. I feel like we're going to lose someone that a lot of people like this week. And the nice thing, though, was the fact that Cynthia and Carson said to each other they've got each other's back for sure, 100%, and they go into final two together. And I tweeted this out as well, because this is Big Brother, and of course that could mean nothing. I tweeted this out, and I said, do you know what the wonderful thing about that is, as a viewer watching it, is the fact that you can stare at it and go, or you can stare at the moment, you can stare at the video, and you can go, that's 100% genuine. There's no qualms there. There's no BS. There's no people going, I might betray you later. You just know. And Carson and Cynthia are not going to betray one another. They want to go to the end together. And that is wonderful to see. I know it's Big Brother and we like the backstabbing and the manipulating and the lying and the deceit and all that kind of stuff. But it's wonderful when two people just click and they form an incredible bond. And like Janelle and Casey, I know I'm not saying it's on the same level as that, but, just two people click, whether it's a showmance or whether it's, and 9 times out of 10 the showmances don't live on, but the friendships do, and the friendships, they mean something, and a lot more of the time than the showmances. And I'm not throwing shade, because I know a lot of people are still together from showmances, but the friendships tend to last a lot longer. Just look at Janelle and Kay. So I just did think there was something wonderful about that moment. Shayna and Lamar expressed that if they win head of household on Friday, they are going to put up Misha and Todrick for eviction. Cynthia expressed that she would put up Misha, not necessarily Todrick. Cynthia, you're a legend, but put your head on straight. Put your head on straight and realise that Misha and Todrick are in it together. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in Big Brother is, when there's a power couple or a power duo, only putting one of them up on the block. Fatal mistake, because at least if you put both of them up, at least, I'm going to say at least once more, at least one of them will definitely be on the block come eviction night, which means you've got at least 50% of a shot, 50-50 chance of a shot at taking one of them out. When you take one off the block, or if one of them takes himself off the block and only one of them's on there, there's no promise that you're going to put the other person up, so then boom, guess what? Your HOH week has been a shambles and you look like an absolute mug on national TV, and you just look like somebody who's made a weak move and hasn't had the balls to put up somebody who is a huge threat, and you've just sent somebody out like Chris Kattan, who isn't a threat. It's weak, it's bad gameplay. Cynthia, get your head on straight. We all love you out here, but make sure that you're putting both of them up if you're gonna make that move. If you want to target them, you need to put both of them up. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed it. Yes, there was a lot of strategy talk, but it was a lot of regurgitated strategy talk of, a lot of people saying, if I win HOH, I'm putting up Misha and Todrick, or, Katan's not going to be put on the block this week, and, Carson and Cynthia talking about the veto. It was very same old, same old. Nothing new came up. I always like to keep it quite succinct, pick out the highlights, and then boom, put them on a plate for all you guys to enjoy, hopefully. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate every single last one of you for coming out and showing your support every single day. It means the absolute world to me, and I'm not just saying that, it really does. Thank you so much, folks. I hope that everybody's staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there. And remember to be kind to one another. That's really important. Be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.